Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here for the first episode officially of Shonen Ronin on this year, 2021. A lot of things happened with Shonen Ronin last year and everything, but we are revamping it, relaunching it, and you will see what it's all about. Definitely give us your feedback down below in the comment section. What you guys thought about the new show? What do you think about the segment? How do you guys feel about mushing up our reviews, manga reviews of Shonen Weekly Shonen Jump together? So let us know what you guys think about it, and let's start the show, and let's have a freaking good time. Let's hit it! Welcome, anime lady fans. How you guys doing? LegendDVash here as always with the SamTheMangaMan down below. JBXclusive, the main host for C4's Villains every Friday night that you guys should be watching. And we're here to do Shonen Ronin episode 1 to discuss My Hero chapter 310 and Black Clover chapter 291 without Sam when he leaves us, because you know we're just chopped liver out here, right, Sam?
Sure, chopped liver, sure. Okay.
Oh, in other ways, his excuse is, he's busy, but who knows, maybe by the end of the summer, by the end of the year, he will join us with Black Clover greatness and have a discussion with us. We'll see about that. So we will see how by then we will discuss about Black Clover. But for those that don't know what Shonen Ronin is our new show that the whole team discuss, because as you may have heard from the main show anime podcast and everything like that, we want to also review JJK in the future. We love talking about Kaiju number 8 and other said series from Weekly Shonen Jump. But we don't have that much time on a Sunday afternoon because that's usually with our partners, errands, and our daily lives. So instead of having 5 different streams where you guys get notifications of, we all came to a conclusion of having one stream, and you guys will get the time codes, aka what you two call it, chapters, where you guys could jump to the section you guys want to hear, My Hero section only, Black Clover section, or Kaiju, or JJK, or you could check out the whole stream yourself out. And for those that also like podcast platform as well, you could check out Shonen Ronin on the podcast feed as well. They'll be coming out on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, so definitely check that out and give us a podcast rating as well, and 5 stars was gladly appreciated. We'll be on the same Podbean as well, where the anime main show is. James, would you have any thoughts before we start with our main topic, aka My Hero?
No, let's get into it.
Sam, any last thoughts as well, or jump to it as well?
We will be doing some. We will add some more mangas later down the line for more episodes, and probably have some guests joining us for those mangas specifically.
In the future, yep.
All the everything else for sure for in the future. Hope you guys tune into those, and yeah, the podcasters will never miss out because we're gonna have it on there as well.
Yeah, so let's jump into it without the announcement further away. And also, if you guys want us to do other series, mash on the luck and everything like that, let us know what series you want us to cover in the future. Weekly Shonen Jump is on break, so you might get an episode 2 of Shonen Ronin. Depends on the on the team's schedule. So let us know what series you guys want us to talk about in the comment section down below. Now let's jump into My Hero Academia chapter 310 first. James, since as always is you and Ray, since you guys don't do the reaction with us, what did you think about that chapter? What's your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I love this chapter, man. Like, I felt like this chapter gave me just enough of what I needed to know, right? Like, I don't necessarily need the full backstory of the second and third users right at this moment, but it was good to just get a glimpse of what life was like for them during the reign of All for One in his heyday when everything was chaotic, right? Before All Might came in and make everything good again. So it was great to get a glimpse into that. And the beginning of this chapter is, I thought it was great as well, because Deku was instantly able to see someone that needed help instead of these other people that only saw something that they thought they needed to kill, essentially, right? So that's another great hero moment for Deku as a character. So we'll get into a lot of these moments when we get deeper into the review, but those were two of the things that really stood out to me in this chapter, and I'm really pissed that I have to wait 2 weeks for the next one because I'm so ready to get more of the story.
That's great recap. Like, so
that's a perfectly well said. I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is perfectly well said. Let's go piece by piece of this entire chapter, where it's raining heavily. There's barely any power because from all the buildings are less like, and yet when you don't know what you're seeing in the dark, you would think every tall figure is a monster. But you're in a world where everybody's like, almost everybody has a quirk. They can actually look different and genetically different. but when they see the tall girl, they think it's a monster right away. And it feels like this is the kind of society that currently live in, and also what we're living, like based on what they look like. It's essentially that we see them as a threat, and we want to like shoot them or like attack them or kill them, just that they feel like they're in danger, but really it's all running by fear at this very moment. And Deku, like the hero he is, saves the girl. It's a tall girl. She's not a monster. She's just as like our entire world looks different, but like not really a monster, not a figure. And this is what All for One did this entire world in Japan, where everybody's like attacking each other just because they look different or because they have certain quirks, or they might be the jailbreakers or anything. There's all this chaos. It's literally bringing back the worst era ever to the era right now and trying to do like a neo worst era ever under the rule of All for One again. And Deku is the difference maker in this moment. Guys, your thoughts?
Yeah, I love seeing that parallel. I'm glad that you brought that up. Like just seeing like how people are acting in the streets. They're so frantic, they don't know what to do. And this is why having police, having the hero society in place is important, because these people are the ones that's supposed to be trained to be able to see the difference. Again, this was an innocent person that was almost killed, right? And then again, like watching just the little glimpse of what the second and third user talked about, what their life was like. So I love seeing the parallels that we're almost back in an All for One state. So again, man, Horikoshi is just a great writer. I love this journey that he's taking us on.
I love how we see the details of the characters All for One and what he has done. Like we always have spoken about within the past year, like us asking like, what was it when we first found out about My Hero, when All Might first spoke about the dark age of All for One, like realm, like of him being the king, of him being a demon lord. We always wonder how was that, not knowing that the second and third user was part of that realm, part of that sad world, like being technically being governed by him. So I'm really curious to know more backstories of these characters and to see the danger of All for One and who he was is insane. Like, so I'm really excited to see what more backstory we find about these characters and to know how they felt in this chapter, to know that like, hey, we have to put all this faith in Deku because this boy wants to save the user. So like they feel like, not that they feel bad, but like they feel that that's a lot of weight on his shoulder as well, I feel like.
No, it definitely is a huge weight on Deku's shoulder, because we're in the perspective of all the citizens, the victims that's literally have no idea of this entire danger. They never lived throughout that era. Like most of these are like never lived in that age of the worst age ever during the All for One reign, and now we have the perspective of these citizens are being in danger. They're panicking. They have no idea. It's real. This is real, legit stuff that actually can happen when we have never faced this kind of pandemic or danger that's ever happened in this entire world. Everybody's are scared. They're willing to attack each other. They have no sense of order or calm or any direction that's going into. They end up going frantic and crazy. And although like these citizens that decides to pick up the weapons to try to see defending themselves, they're not seeing that you are putting your own lives in danger, as well as victims that has nothing to do with criminals who are just innocent bystanders. That's, again, for her perspective, says, I just got lost. I was just slow to evacuate. I seen people getting injured left and right, and I just couldn't do anything. I'd rather just stay underneath, hid, and then escape when everything's quiet again. It's real stuff.
I felt so bad because that reminded me a lot of our Splinter, because he is a guy that has a gecko quirk, and he got bullied in high school just because the way he looks and everything, and that's why he joined the league. Because not because he's really a bad guy, but also because he was inspired by our boy Stain, but also because he was bullied by the way he got judged, the way he looked. So to actually see the way people judge this woman who wasn't really doing anything bad to them, she was just trying to look for shelter. And all she did was to Deku, like, hey, I was just trying to go to a shelter. That's why I'm here getting attacked just because the way she looks. And those people was judging her like, oh, right here, this creature, you know, it's ugly and everything. I'm like, yeah, overdoing it. Like, yeah, judging a person. Yeah, I really use a discrimination just by the way she looks.
And that's why the hero course and the hero society is so important in my eyes anyway. I love just to piggyback off of that, what Pedro is saying in chat right now, like how Deku makes her feel calm. He literally puts an umbrella over her to make her feel safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's such an important thing as a hero. And jumping back to the second and third user, I do think they are concerned about Deku, but the other thing is, like they mentioned, they lived through the worst era of All for One, where it was kill or be killed. There was no gray area. It was kill or be killed, period. So for them to listen to this kid, they find him naive in the beginning because he thinks that he can save this person attached to this ultimate evil, right? So, and we'll get to that at the end, but they've obviously come around on Deku. And just like the first user said, that's why you guys are here. You do believe in him in some way, right? So why are you making it so difficult for him right now? So I love the duality of that. They are concerned, but for multiple reasons. They're concerned that he might not be able to do what's necessary, but they also have to realize that they have to help him if he's going to stand any chance against All for One, which is the point of One for All.
I do want to add to what you're saying about the umbrella. The umbrella was really so wholesome. Like while me and Sam was just reacting to it, I felt
like
it was so wholesome.
Scared she lost the umbrella in the first place.
And to know, like, and showing how tall she is as well.
She lost the umbrella.
That too, both.
Yeah, like Deku was literally everywhere and everything, and tried to keep everything calm as a hero. Be like, stop the fight. She's innocent. She's not a threat. Picks up an umbrella, calms her down. Like everything will go back to normal eventually, as long as I'm here. I'm gonna make it happen. That everything goes back to normal. That's what a real hero does. Assure the people, saying it's gonna be okay. Because I'm gonna make the difference of I'm the change. That's what's gonna happen. And what you guys need to do is calm down, find a safe place, get together, and like literally let the heroes do their job. Because this is now the huge difference makers of which heroes are left, who's still around, who's still protecting citizens, and especially at this time at night where no power, heavy rain. A hero does not stop working, even with a rainy day. A hero will just keep moving forward to help protect the citizens, stop the vigilantism. That's what I'm calling vigilantism of citizens holding up weapons to fight and try to defend themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but for me, what I was gonna add and what I was gonna transition into about her being tall and everything, and knowing that about Deku had to jump so high to kind of defend like a water attack or something against her, and what James mentioned in the group chat to know how did he deflect that, because all we know so James, what do you want to talk about your theory about that?
Yeah, so I didn't notice it the first time. I read the chapter like 3 times, and on the second time that I saw it, I was like, I think that Deku might have displayed a new quirk in this, because when the blast happens, you can see it's almost like the blast hit a wall, right? And then the energy dissipates around Deku. So it's almost like he has an invisible aura that's acting as a shield surrounding his entire body. That's what I think. So that could be one of the quirks from either the second or the third user, right? So again, that's just a theory that I have. That's just what I think, because it's just the way that it stops inches away from him, and then the energy just dissipates around his body. So it's like there's an aura surrounding him. So that's what I think. I could be reading into it, but I'm very curious to see like if that's the case in future chapters.
I thought it was because of Deku's air pressure, because he was moving so very fast, and like he was willing to take the bullet in a way. But even though it's like a whole water bullet, it won't really necessarily hurt him. But the aura is the air pressure from the shoot style that's all around Deku, and it's like moving direction upward, or at least moving the waters elsewhere.
Yeah,
and
potentially.
Like,
yeah.
And technically, Deku doesn't have full control of movement onto his fast movement because you see him literally have to swing himself from the lights. I think it was a light pole, and literally swing him back. Wait, calm down, just to like the whole ricochet, get him back. Like doesn't have fully control, so it definitely has to be the wind and the air pressure from the shoot style movement that blocked the bullet. But I don't know.
I'm hoping it's an invisible like aura shield around him, man. Like that's what I'm thinking. Again, like I see where you're coming from, Sam, but it's just like with it being air pressure, I don't see how that would stop the blast. Like, because when the blast impacts, it's flat, right? I don't think air pressure would do that. So I'm thinking it's a shield, but I mean, I'm not ruling it out, right? It's definitely possible.
Yeah, like there's something literally like outside, something that stop the movement of that water just so that misdirection, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the impact is completely flat, and it's like the energy is going around something, but I don't know.
For me, I see it.
Hopefully, we find out by next 2 weeks.
For me, I see it as a possibility because we don't know if it could be the second or third user or what it is. So it definitely could be either or. So I would like about the Invincible Shield because that was one of our theories a couple of months back when Ray and us spoke about that he should have like some type of defense quirk. So if it's like Invincible Shield around his body or around the air, so that'd be pretty different but similar to what we spoke about. So if he had like a little smoke screen but also some type of Invincible Shield, that'd be pretty useful for him in attacks where it comes from left and right where he can't really block it, but the shield could block him for him. So that will be pretty useful as hell.
Invisible
Denzel, I see where you're coming from, but I feel like a speed quirk would be useless, right? Because with all for one, the strength and speed that he already has, he's already fast enough. He doesn't need a speed quirk to make him even faster. I mean, there was a moment where the first Nomu attacked UA, right? Deku like moves so fast towards All Might that no one even saw him move. Right, so he's fast enough with his physical strength that's already built in to One for All. So I don't see how a speed quirk would be useful, right? But I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
and plus to add to that,
like I mentioned before, Deku had a hard time moving when he was like going so fast, or else he would have not grabbed onto that pole and swing himself back to the other side.
Still a work in progress.
Vash, you were saying?
I was gonna say that it could on like with. People also forget that he also has full countering. He is already faster than Gran Torino, so like he doesn't really need a speed quirk. So I don't think it's useful. So if we want to talk about possibilities, so we know about the second user, and from what we saw within the second half of the chapter, we see the second user having a scar on his face, and we see having 2 gauntlets on his arms, and in the flashback, when he went to protect the first user, the brother, we see him having 1 gauntlet on his hand. And my assumption and my theory with Sam when we did the reaction is that he could have something like our boy Oyama, like the Ray, but instead of Ray's in the stomach, it's Ray's inside his gauntlets, but similar to a Bakugo sweat quirk, but instead of throwing some type of explosion, it's more like some type of laser cannons from your hands and everything like that. Yeah, that's what
I will say about. The gauntlet is definitely it's definitely designed to focus a beam of some kind. So it'll be interesting to see what that is, right?
Yeah, so like that'd be interesting. Like that's what me and Sam spoke about it.
Like it's a really good tool to have because what Deku has in his arsenal, if you think of it all as tool, like the black whip is the ropes, his danger sense is the walkie-talkie, the float is the jetpack, the smoke is the like smoke grenade. I'm thinking like all the weaponry tools and stuff a soldier would usually have. That's why I'm thinking like maybe James, you might be right with some kind of like a shield or like a riot shield or something invisible aura that comes from the third quirk user, and the second user is something that had to do with shooting projectiles like a gun or like a laser, anything that has to do with like a full-on arsenal of tools. That's how I feel. Or else it could also work as a grenade, regular grenade explosive too, because people still say it's Bakugo, but it's just a lookalike. That's what we feel like. It's just a lookalike.
It can't be. It
For
can't
those
be him.
for those
This
that
is
still think it's
someone that's
Bakugo, throw that
already
shit
at
out the
an
window.
Yeah,
it's already
time.
someone that's a full adult that lived in the past where All for One was ruling that time. It's not him.
It's
like,
not. And like it, literally, if you throw Bakugo back in that time, that means you willing to you will be okay with Bakugo killing people, especially in this age where James just said it's kill or be killed. You want this is an age where people have to kill or else they die. And
yeah, it's not like
and that's not something.
And I mean,
that's not like
I was gonna say
that would mean that Bakugo grew up, went back in time, faced All for One, and then died.
And they
to be a part of One for All. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And like they're trying to defend it, saying, oh, in order to strike back against All for One's control, he gathered allies and fought. And like anybody can literally gather allies and fight.
And then that would also have to mean that Deku gave him the quirk. With the knowledge that we know now, passing One for All to someone that has a quirk would only kill them. He would not kill his friend.
Mm-hmm.
He would not put anyone that he cares about or anyone in that type of danger. So there's so many things that cancels out that theory.
It's weird because once me and Sam was done with the reaction, and then when Sam was searching up for thumbnail, he told me that he kept looking for people saying, sorry, he kept seeing people saying, oh, that's Bakugo, oh, that's Bakugo. I'm
so
like,
I understand.
motherfuckers, are y'all blind? That ain't fucking Bakugo. Stop saying that some stupid wilding shit. That ain't him.
So, like, it's just like that's how it tells you that the fandom is really real with the My Hero Academia community, because like they tried to defend the same scar that Deku had when he goes in full cowl mode. I was like, wait, now you're throwing off the park right there. It's just let a different person, let Horikoshi write a different character. It's fine. We know he can write characters really well, and I'm pretty sure we would love a whole side story of the time and era of during All for One's reign, and we have
that would be
like
amazing.
a different team of rebellion or like a resistance group that was going against All for One, and because we got it from here, they literally said like he had to gather allies to fight against All for One's control, because they eventually find out that our leader was misgiving about the future, like his whole brain control of convincing people. There are some people who eventually have to find out like, yo, this is a con, this is a scam. Because of his misleading words and manipulation that's can do. That's how con mans are work. They say certain things to convince you to join their side, and eventually, like when they say one or two wrong things, you start thinking otherwise, where like something's not adding up, something's definitely wrong, and there has to be a whole like a side change within All for One's reign. There has to be some kind of resistance within the place, because they have to feel like they've been tricked. This is a whole entire con this whole entire time. We need to get rid of the threat, or else like you give a madman, a crazy dictator ruling this entire world, and we can't allow that to happen.
But
this was the dark age.
I do want to go back to the conversation about the quirks of what you guys could think about the second or third user, because there's also Speed said bone projectiles. What do you guys think about that?
Bone projectile.
That would be interesting.
Does that mean that you get to go back to fix Deku's broken bones and all that stuff like that?
I hope not.
That would be funny. That'd be a great comedy for it.
X-Men spikes kind of thing.
It would be interesting. The only pushback that I would give is that Deku already has a technique that he can use for projectiles, because he can use the air pressure cannon. So he already has like a projectile type. But I mean, it doesn't mean that he can't have more than one. You know what I mean? So either way it goes, I would be very interested.
All right.
Definitely it's sorry, I was gonna say, like from last chapter, I'll say like use them. We're not like a whole all in one powered quirk. We're all just this is cool and nice necessary tools you can have where it works better all together while you're thinking. That's why like I don't think it's something that has to be really huge or giant or like a big blast kind of thing. it's better to be as a tool for Deku to use to help him think of another way to where you can combine 2 or 3 of the other quirks together to help with the situation that comes with it.
I'm
So
just curious to
I
know.
wouldn't.
I'm just curious to know how is Deku gonna use the quirk, because we don't know that for this guy second user. We don't know that if those gauntlets that he has in his hands, that if it improves or enhance his quirk. So does Deku needs to get gauntlets for himself as well, or with the quirk being passed down for 6, 7 generations now, does he not need those type of gauntlets for himself? So I'm very curious to know how is it gonna work for Deku after 6, 7 type of generations past now. So I'm really curious to see that.
That's also true.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
That's also true. Like you
Yeah.
might, if it's literally is some kind of projectile thing, like with Bakugo and his gauntlet arm, wouldn't Deku need some kind of like the gauntlet
That's
arm
what I'm saying.
to
Like
himself to like
maybe
shoot
now
that kind
he
of
might not need it
explosive
no
right
more
away?
because it's been passed down. So and with I'm really curious to now with the third users now, we don't know much about it, because all they said is that it was interesting this line that with the second user with the scar said, because in our battle with victory meant life and defeat meant death.
Mhm.
And now you tell us to devote our efforts to one who wants to save our mortal enemy, a boy holding on to such a ridiculous type of delusion. And I love the response. They tell him like a delusion, such sad way to see it. Then tell me this: why on that day, knowing the full well of my ties to our mortal enemy, did you reach out to me? So I love that type of conversation. Asking like, if you don't have that much faith in him, why did you have faith in me to reach out to me and help me out? So I really love that. I really love that type of parallel and conversation to know.
Because he saw someone that needed saving.
And that's what I was gonna
I
bring
feel
up.
like all the users have to at least had that moment where like he needed saving. I need to save him, even if it's like with themselves with tying together with the one for all quirk. It's still that hope of he needed saving, that what brought them all together, and it caught within this action of domino effects, and that's what Yoichi tried to bring up for the second user. It'd be like it was also thanks to your help on that spatter. Like we could have not been here today without you lending your help to help me, even though like I'm your mortal enemy's brother. Where you could have just like you could have used me as hostage. You could have used me as a threat. You could have used me if anything to take down all for one. But instead, you chose to help me into this.
I love
rebellion
that
arc.
because it
Dude,
reminds
that's-
me.
I love that. Like,
What
Go ahead,
go
what
ahead.
what I was gonna say is just it reminds me about Deku and Bakugo. So it really is beautiful of how Deku said you look like you needed saving, and Bakugo said that too in most recently. So I love that, like it's literally parallel, and I assume that's what Denzel is trying to compare as well. That how Deku and Bakugo is compared to the first and to the second user, of how they both needed saving, or how they both needed, like, why did you reach out to me? So I love that, very beautiful. James.
yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing, but I was just gonna go one further. It's more of like the parallel between them two, and then the parallel between Deku and Shigaraki as well, because like Sam said, like he could have seen All For One's brother as leverage, find a way to use him to get to All For One, but he didn't think about that first. He saw someone that needed saving and he saved him. So that's exactly what Deku is doing. He can see that Shigaraki is very much influenced by All For One, but he can't help that he sees someone that needs to be saved. So he have to at least try and see where it goes. So I love
Yeah.
it, man.
It
Parallels
is-
are great.
The parallel's great and the message is great because you could tell it's a little bit before he got that scar in his face. And even though he said himself, like, in a world where it's kill or be killed, why did I choose to save? And I think that's a very powerful message, because like instead of just killing everything that's in front of you in fear of like danger, in fear of being killed, you saw an innocent bystander and you decide to do something to help them instead of like using it for your own fears and your greater good. You find hope instead of continuing on with your own fear. Powerful message.
Very.
And I love the
yeah,
last two.
it's
I
like-
love the last two panels. Is listen up, boy. Things are bound to move more quickly from here on out. And I love how throughout the whole flashback, Mabo is eating. He's like, I gotta put this whole food in my mouth because I gotta go eat and everything. But I love how the last panel literally has the whole smoke screen in the back of how every single user is literally right there. So that's so beautiful and very impactful to show that each user is now
I took a
supporting Deku.
screenshot immediately.
I can't wait to see somebody do some coloring for this, because this will be the next update I have for my phone. Because the current one I have with Deku and everything. Let me see if I can show it on my phone and everything. Because
The
I
birth
can't wait to
of
see it.
the birth of One for All was truly when you lend a hand to me. That was actually powerful.
That's the
Oh,
one I
that's
have right
amazing.
now. So I just can't wait to see the next panel to see that drawn. Like that would be beautiful. So the Dow, like that's amazing to see throughout the whole flashback. Our boy Deku's eating, and definitely from what's on the chat, All Might is Deku's Alfred. Because with that Batmobile and everything, he's
Yeah,
definitely
Definitely.
he
he is
definitely
definitely Deku's
was.
Alfred.
It was like, hey, Master Deku, like, what happened? What's going on? Can you take it to a something? Okay, sure. Here's your lunch.
But here's your food.
Because Alfred does all of it. Like the whole, like, in case like you need a ride or like you need food or anything, I got you.
Yeah, he has done it
So,
before. So
so
like,
I'm with Ray on this. I definitely think that Horikoshi in that last panel is telling us that he's switching to the villains because he has now announced that Deku has now has the full backup of all 8 predecessors. So
Mhm.
now I
see
feel
that,
like it would be
yeah.
the perfect time to switch to All for One and Shigaraki and see what's going on with them.
If not off
Hmm.
Shigaraki and All for One, maybe with Toga or with because we haven't seen her in like even way before this, before the whole
Yeah.
Deku left everything. Like we have no idea what she's doing, and
Huh.
with forgot the forgot his name. He was also the jailbreaker too. The guy who got out and went after her sword. Toga, Spinner's uh, motivational person.
Stain?
Stay.
Stain, thank you, because
Oh.
we never seen Stain either. It's been a long
We
time since we've seen Stain as well.
So I think what James and Ray is definitely right about that, because we will probably see Stay next and the other villains, and we haven't seen Chiraki since I think like since 302 or 301 around there. So it's been a while. So we need to definitely catch up, and I think Ray is right about that around the money that we'll see that transition to see, cause like this is a great send off to go switch to the villain side perspective or back to the UA to see what Bakugo and them are doing. So this is a great panel off to show
Right.
the other side of the whole flip coin of what they're doing. So I hope to see what they're doing. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see like Deku now has access. We know for a fact that he now has access to all of the powers within One for All. That was exactly what that last panel was telling us. And I feel like this is the perfect time for a switch. Wherever it goes, I'll be happy. If we get more Shoto, that'll be great. If we get more Stain, that'll be great. If we can check in with Shigaraki, because at this point we know at least like a couple weeks to maybe a month or two has passed since Deku has woken up. So I would love to see what All for One's influence has been on Shigaraki. Has he been able to take over more of the consciousness space? How has Shigaraki been fighting back? These are all things that I want to know. So wherever it switches, just give it to me.
Mhm.
For me, what I would like to see the more, like the two things I want to see is Dabi and Stain. And definitely what the chat just said is our boy Chisaki. I want to see what he's doing right now, since he technically has no arms and everything. Like I want to know what his next moves. So I'm really curious to know what is the next.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
I know that
really
you don't care,
either.
but I'm curious to know that he's gonna be a key moment for this arc, or is he just gonna be referenced and that's it? Just gonna be off panel. But the most two, like I said, Stain and Dabi. I want to see what they're doing, because I know Shigaraki and Alpha One needs to continue regenerating. I guess we don't know how long or how much time has passed for him to heal. Is he fully done? So I'd like to see that. But more I'm curious to know about Dabi, because we know about Endeavor trying to get back his son and everything, and maybe Shoto's training. So I'm curious to know how's that going to evolve. So I'm definitely want to see more about Dabi and Stain himself, because Stain is not really more on the villain side. So I'm curious to know if Stain is also going to be working with them, or is Stain going to be involved with them. So I really want to see what he's doing in his perspective.
What Pedro says, like we can also switch to the school where All Might's bringing the girl and the classmates and stuff, because they did mention they are a few. They need backup. They're only a few people. They're only a few heroes in the field, in the front lines. They kind of need backup from the classmates, the students, or the other people to help, battle out the other jailbreakers that's released, or other criminals and stuff like that. But I feel like with the classmates and stuff. Bakugo's like the one in charge of trying to gathering all the allies and people together, and the heroes that they could put out front to help support Deku in the end. The Stain is on Stain's side. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Stain is
Overhaul
never
getting
nobody's
his hands
Stain.
back.
But Eerie, I don't know.
if
I don't see that. I do not see that.
I would love that. If that happened, I would love it. Because I mean, the point of being a hero is rising above. The point is not to sink to the level of your oppressors, right? So for her to be the bigger person and to healing him doesn't mean that he gets out of prison, right?
No.
But to put that goodwill forward, I feel like that would be great for her as a hero in the future. I would love that.
And also for her character to understand that you cannot let your past, chain, handcuff you to your past. I think that's something that also Albumiro that help and support her to go with the decision as well to bring back his arm. So I think that's also a possibility for him as well. So with what you said, James, I do agree it's possible.
I mean, since Horikoshi is so great with parallels and stuff, I can literally see a point where Chisaki is by himself, no arms. He feels like a whole victim himself, like a whole helpless person. But Eri is the one that finds him, and the one that actually brings him up instead of keeping him down like he did to her, in that sort of way. And that's why she would bring back his arms. And in that point of view, Chisaki chooses to help wake up his father, reverse the mistakes that he's done with his quirk and that sort of thing. I could definitely see it that way, because it's literally not forgiving the person who does this to you, but it's more rise above him, better than you ever did to me. I didn't want to do this to get revenge. I want to get It's more about redemption and forgiveness for myself, not for you. Oh.
That guy, that's my mom, by the way. For those that are watching.
Mother.
You just got saw a cameo of a mom and everything. But to go to what Chat was saying, Chat is saying also it was said in 2 chapters ago that Japan went into lockdown. So did the international heroes come in or what? Japan did go into lockdown, and from what we know, we don't have no confirmation that support did arrive before the lockdown. So at the moment, within the lockdown already, maybe nobody got in and got out, but we don't know if anybody got in before the lockdown. So that was no confirmation about that. We hope some did. We hope we saw some heroes internationally, like Captain Celebrity and other heroes. We hope that could come in, but we have no confirmation for that. Guys, your thoughts?
I would say some jailbreaker stuff, it's all fun and games and all to cause havoc within Japan, but in case something really happens where the heroes comes back and take us back into jail, I'd rather escape somewhere else in a different country. And that's where you see the international heroes that's literally bordering around Japan, stopping any jailbreakers that try to escape outside of it. This is what I can actually see, especially when quirks can touch within water. I don't they could do some kind of water quirk where they can actually escape over, or a whole jetpack kind of thing. Anything can happen, really. It's just containing Japan is worse than everybody going into Japan and spread a disease or contagions to them or anything afterwards.
Yeah, if anything, like you were saying, Sam, I guess I would kind of prefer to see them any heroes from America guarding the borders and stuff, because I want the heroes of Japan to fix their own problem, right? And that's what Deku is on a mission doing right now. He's trying to clean up the mess that All for One started. So I want all of that stuff to stay in-house. But of course, I mean, would it be interesting if some heroes from Japan try to get to the States and then we get to see one of the heroes from the States stop them? That would be really cool.
Yep. They'd be like, "Hey, I found one of your guys over here escaping to our country." It's I'm bringing him back for because he has better jurisdiction over there instead of here, and that sort of thing. That brings in the whole entire My Hero world's politics. Everybody has their own different stuff, different tactics of different ways of handling criminals, because that's usually how we do it. If we have a criminal that's from a different state, we're gonna send you into that state and not prosecute in our side unless they did a crime in our state. I could definitely see like the crime was being made in Japan, and he's in our states. We're gonna fly you back. We're gonna deport you into Japan so that you can face trial and justice in that system instead. And that's justice. That's real.
And plus Jordan, as much as I would love to support this, Overhaul has no chance against the new Demon King, Shigaraki slash All for One. He Overhaul will get fought even if he has his quirk still in his hands. He will have no chance against Shigaraki. He has no chance. I'm sorry, but my dude is already.
Could you imagine if Shigaraki?
Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, could you imagine if Shigaraki got like Overhaul's quirk? That would, I mean, he's already super OP. He doesn't need it.
It's already
could you
similar.
imagine how dangerous?
It's already too similar in a way, and I think Shigaraki would rather destroy than rather to like rebuild and recreate into his own place anyway. It's like destroy only. Never don't care about bringing it back, because with Chisaki's quirk, he can literally like reform and bring it back. Just in a more nastier kind of way in that situation, which is why like I think if you bring back Chisaki's arms back, he's gonna really have to try to fix things and heal things, but let alone to destroy things and like turn things into goop or turn them into like tire or reshape and that sort of thing. I think that's how you reform Chisaki. Don't make him go back into the age where he's disfiguring people, he's cutting up people, and like to cause a threat, bring it back to the way it is. And like, if you don't follow me, I'm gonna keep doing this over and over again. Like, that's not a way to change someone. That's bringing them back to the way they before. To reform them is for a way to help make them see their mistakes and fix everything. And I think Eri is the person that has to like try to lead him to that direction, to redeem yourself, to reform yourself, fix people. Use your quirk to fix people.
And Chad, also what Ray is saying we truly support, because we get it that Overhaul could touch Shigaraki and do something, but at the same time, while Overhaul touch Shigaraki can return that to Overhaul and decay him, take his quirk, literally do the same thing, return. So it's literally a vice versa. But technically, Shigaraki at this moment has 25 quirks more that could use against Overhaul. So technically, Overhaul still would get Chad. And like literally no cap. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he would lose.
All for One isn't dumb. He knows how to use his quirks, right? Like whatever quirk he used against like it's like the black and red like spike things that he shoots out of his fingers. He could shoot those into Overhaul's limbs to keep him still, touch him and steal his quirk. Like, Overhaul would not even get the chance to touch All for One. So as cool as his like transmutation type quirk is, against All for One, he would be nothing.
It's like if we can recall, like All for One's decay quirk is not just about touching you anymore. It's literally, if I touch the ground and that rather decay that touches you, you're going to decay as well.
That's
whereas
true. Yep.
Chisaki, he needs to touch like a whole living matter itself. He needs to literally have to touch him. So it's already a fair unbalanced difference of what they can go against each other. That's why I said Chisaki should just like heal and fix people, especially when if we recall, one of his arm is an orb, if I'm mistaken, from because what they cut off one, decayed it, cut off the other one, put it into the orb marble from Mystic.
Yeah, I think it's Mystic. Yeah,
I think since they already have Mystic under arrest, or like have him like hold on to, they can
like have that as well.
Like, just literally like, yo, what's this orb for? And then like, oh shit, it's a living arm. It's a whole arm or some stuff. And it's just recognize it as Chisaki.
It could be as
just
well.
Literally having Eri to literally replace two arms, just try to attach one and then bring back the other one. Save some quirk.
Again, overall, it could go either or on how Eri, or he could get prosthetic arms or robot arms. We still have no idea. And like the team have said, like, do we even care about Chisaki? Will he play a key moment for this, or will we rather see Stain, Dabi, and other characters? As said, we want to see more about, maybe we go switch up to the panel and story of Bakugo and their perspective. Shoto, like, is this guy training because my guy needs to train if he wants to fight his brother Dabi, or aka Toya, because Shoto, you're technically right now like the weakest out of the trio right now, so you technically need to level up, step up. So I would definitely like to see what Shoto can do and bring to the table. How can he do a little mix of his fire and ice quirk?
Yes, Mr. Compress is a real G, by the way. He is a real G. He took a whole chunk of his whole sides just so everybody else can escape. So
yes,
it's most likely he'll still be alive though.
Imagine All for One taking Aries
help,
quirk
guys.
and then splitting one fall into separate people again. That would be so OP as hell.
That
Definitely
would be
broken as hell.
so interesting, but I don't want it. I don't want it to happen. That would be so interesting for the story, but I want to see that in like an alternate timeline. I don't want that in like the main thing. Like that would be so broken.
I think it'd be very dangerous because does All for One know about Eri? Is another story.
I'm sure he does.
He knows of it, but he probably has no interest. He probably has no interest in her as well. Because at the same time, he's the type of person that rather have certain interests in certain quirks. He doesn't care about every single quirk out there. He just likes the ones that are useful for him.
Or just anybody that he can manipulate and use to control for him to do order stuff that he wants to do, like during his dark ages. Because like even in the anime, in the manga, much early on, he says like, see, I didn't have to command them or do anything. They just went and did it. They just went in there and destroyed my enemies. Like I didn't have to give them the word or anything. They just choose to be a follower of me. I manipulated them, but I'm their ruler and I'm their king, and that's how they see it.
And also to add from what we spoke about earlier, I was rereading what you guys were talking as well. I just want to see what, because I feel like the second, third user don't feel like heroes, because in the panel of page 12, he said, I implore you, my heroes. Both of them said that, like both of them had nothing to respond to that. Like I feel like both the second, third user don't see themselves as heroes. Yeah, like I feel like both of them don't see themselves as heroes, because the following 6 user say, hey kiddo, forget about them. How about you catch on some other quirks in the meantime and you do some training? And then after I believe the third user finally spoke, saying, we lived through the harshest era. So I really can't wait to see what the second and third user has gone through, why they feel like they are not heroes, or what they feel like they're not suited for them to believe to support Deku. Like they support Deku, but right now I feel like they have such trauma, PTSD that has gone through this, so I feel like that's very tough, and I can't wait to see this flashback more in depth to see what they gone through. Like that scar across his face of the second user, that's like a deep scar where it literally doesn't look like it healed very well. So I'm really curious to know how he got that, because when he first met the first user, he has a clean face. And now to know that when he became the second user, like what did he go through to fight All for One? Like what type of hell for him to feel like he doesn't feel like a hero? What is it that made him become like this? So can't wait to see that.
So how I would defend that part is during that dark age, when it was a kill or be killed, honestly, it's no different from anti-heroes, because like where a hero, they choose not, they can't kill. They would rather not kill, but try to at least capture or save or whatever they can. From during that dark age, I feel like even if they could have saved these people, they decide to kill them because like it was a life where it's kill or be killed, when you don't know who you can trust. And all you really wanted to do was take out the head, which is All for One. So it's more of an anti-hero kind of story where they were kind of heroes because they try to get rid of the threat by killing them, but they never came to the point where, can we change them? Can we help them instead of just killing them? This was the whole pre-age where we have to kill them before they like kill us, instead of like, why don't we just help them, see what happens, and like they can join our side. Maybe they can be a more ally than us. Just enemy.
That was wartime, Sam, right? Yeah. Like to me it's a little bit different. I don't see them as anti-heroes at all. They're heroes. They just did what they had to do. Like Vash said, like I was going to say the same thing. Like the reason why they don't necessarily see themselves as heroes is because of their PTSD. Like they had to do some really, really ugly shit in order to keep All for One at bay and to keep One for All going, right? Like even Captain America in the comics, when he was in World War II, he had to do him and the Howling Commandos had to do some ugly shit. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is because it's war, right? And war is ugly. War isn't fair. So it's just like, that's just what they're going through. And I think that's really interesting. And I can't wait to get more of it.
Sure, but we actually definitely know, we can tell like the second and third user were at least there at the same time, back to back from each other. Like they're both like their own like vice captain kind of thing.
Well, remember, like they probably were like 10 years apart, or maybe they were friends throughout time, and then like probably a couple years of age gap. So like, hey, I'm gonna probably die soon. Here, take this quirk so you could be the third user. And Chris, were there even heroes during that time? Yes, but you have to understand that there was a time of All for One already being a tyranny, and to give the example to what James said is that there was like, imagine like Star Wars. There is a giant big emperor, aka All for One, but there's a rebellious side that wants to take out the empire. This is where they're like, there's heroes, but the heroes were so small, and the fraction and the amount of work they did seemed like they were not doing much. So like, it's a struggle of trying to push, and hopefully look like they finally did something. And after many years later, after the fourth user, fifth user, they finally put All for One down, not fully down, but he went underground and everything. So that's where we are now. But now he's starting to get back into power because now he has like a new body and everything. You know, that's what's going on, right?
Even though they feel like they want to save our mortal enemy, technically the mortal enemy is One for All, not Shigaraki himself. Even though Shigaraki and One for All kind of fused and mixed together, what Deku wants to save is Shigaraki himself, not All for One. That's why I feel like that too. And even though like they feel like Deku's decision is ridiculous, childish even, but even the most ridiculous and childish reason is not a delusion if you can make it happen. You just need to see in action for it to change, for the future can see where this is not a ridiculous notion no more. This is not a it's just a child rebelling this home parent. This is a real revolution where, okay, there's hope. I can see the new hope of this revolution that's happening. We've had this. The Declaration of Independence was like this. I'm serious. It's literally like the U.S. rebelling the British. We no longer want to be a part of you. We want to be our own country, kind of thing. We live this history. It's happened. It's real.
And Ray, just to add, if our boy All for One, if he dead ass has a starship type of destroyer, then I'll be like, all right, cool. Hori, what the hell you doing here? Because this just became a full-on, literally, your pop culture that you love of American comics, literally Star Wars, and they're like, cool. Where the fuck did he get Star Destroyer now?
That'll be crazy. The doctor was working on it. He's also an engineer, and he was working on it the whole time.
Yeah.
I just had it ready.
My satellite?
Oh, my satellite up there? You thought that was a moon? It was actually my Star Destroyer. That's my spaceship.
Yeah, you see how much money I have to pull up just to make that thing so I can shoot like a giant laser at you? Yeah, $400 million.
Oh, just for a nosebleed. Just for a nosebleed. Any last thoughts about my hero? Any last comments? Questions, guys? Chat if you have any last questions before we move on to Black Horse, because I think we're covering everything and plus theories. So, panel, any last thoughts about my hero? Any last theories you guys have thought in your head?
I want some tonkatsu.
I
want some lunch.
I have been in the mood for some sushi, so seeing with Deku eating that nice little bento box, I'm like, damn, I kind of want a bento box myself, but yeah, damn. James?
Yeah, I thought this was a great chapter, man. Like I said in the beginning, I got just enough backstory from the second and third user for me to feel happy going forward. Of course, I would like to get more later on, but for right now, this was enough information. The last panel tells us definitively that he now has the backing of all 8 predecessors, and he will eventually be using One for All at full power at 100%. And I can't wait to see what those 2 quirks are, like indefinitely, like exactly what those 2 quirks are going to be.
Last quick chat comments was, all my best Uber Eats out there, which that was a pretty funny one. Pedro,
Facts, bro. Facts.
I've given up on Deku's dad, All Might is the master for. Hey, have you not seen Guardian of the Galaxy 2? Even though some people could say it's a fair movie, this dislike movie, aka James and everything. But that quote about our boy Handu and everything, telling him like he may be your dad, but he ain't your father. So hey, we don't know what the fuck is Deku's actual dad, but All Might has been doing an awesome job to be a father for the past 2 years,
He
right?
doesn't matter. He doesn't matter.
Jordan,
At this moment,
like,
I don't see it in the story. It's not that important. As long as that when it happens, it means something and it's important for the story when it happens. Right now, at the moment, it's not important to bring Deku's dad unless it's going to be coming our next chapter or within this arc. Who the hell knows? But at this moment, I don't see it as a needed providence within the story.
they could literally throw a curveball and saying, no, Deku's dad was like Nick Fury of this world. Like, wait, what?
But yeah, I mean, he's not important. Like, why does he have to exist, right? Like, Deku has had so many different like father figures in this series. Why do we need to know who he is? It really doesn't matter.
Yep, it doesn't really. Jordan, like, to answer your question of how does Deku justify saving Shiggy to his victims? The thing is, Shiggy was also like a victim himself. He had no one to help him when he was a kid. Nobody lent a hand to him. He developed this rage. He was abused as a child. He was just someone that needed help, but nobody was there to help him. And Deku saw, like, when he was in that kind of trance of all for one and one for all zone place, he saw the crying Shigaraki as a kid. He was just a kid that needed someone to help. And now because he had no help, he grew into this, I hate everything. I want to destroy everything. I don't care about anything anymore. That's a bad mental place to be in. And instead of killing that person that has that kind of mental age, why don't you treat him like a regular person? Lend a hand to him, even though no one was able to. Even though he's gonna say like it's already too late. I can't, like, we've already come this far. It's not really too late unless you really want to see the light of day in the other side of the tunnel.
Like the cycle of death has to stop, right? So I feel like Deku can justify it by saying, look, we caught him and he's going to get the help that he deserves and he will be behind bars where he can't hurt anyone for the rest of his days. That's justice. Killing him only breeds more violence. The people that believed in Shigaraki and All for One's cause will only take up the mantle once Shigaraki is gone, right? Like, I feel like violence just makes more violence. I feel like the type of hero that Deku is aspiring to be, he will be able to find the right words to tell them, we did the right thing. We found justice. We locked this evil away forever, and I will make sure that he stays there. But just adding more killing onto more killing is not going to solve anything. It's not going to bring your loved ones back. It's not going to change anything. We have to change the future to make sure that a Shigaraki doesn't exist ever again. We don't need Shigaraki and All for One 2.0.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see a 2.0 like a teenager. You don't want to see that.
Because like Deku is the new All Might. That's the symbol of we can be better. We need to be better, not a symbol of hope or a symbol of peace. It's a symbol to be better.
And that's the most important part, is to be better and as a human. And like we spoke about, is that stories are written for humans and to have and relate. What do you like? No matter how bad you turn, what do you want to be saved somewhere or another? Because you didn't choose this life chose you, and you want to be saved somewhere or another, no matter how it is. And that's what Deku sees, is like Shigaraki didn't choose this. He got bred to become this, so he didn't have his own choice to actually become who he wanted to be. Shigaraki wanted to be a hero just like his grandmother and everything, but he never got the chance. So that's what Deku wants to do the best he can to save him. And Deku even told the president, like, if I have to, he will do what he has to kill. But he wants to do the best he can to actually save Shigaraki. So I find that the beauty aspect about Deku. Like, he sees the best way he can. And if he don't, then shit sucks. Damn.
I like how Vin. Sorry. I was gonna say I like what Vin, how Vin quoted. Turning Shiggy into a stain-like martyr would be a horrible move. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's why the whole point is to save Shigaraki, but to kill all for one. because he's like the whole core of this chaos and madness and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, like Speed Blitz, like I get where you're coming from, that violence is what maintains peace, but do you really think that that's the optimal choice? Like the choice would just be peace. Like the choice would be being able to talk out these issues with someone else. Not to switch gears, but like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like something that's so important to Sam Wilson being the perfect Captain America is that the fact that he will at least try to talk these people down. Like violence should not be the answer to absolutely everything. In wartime, yes, you don't have any choices, but I don't feel like that's the optimal choice. Violence to create peace should not be the first thing that you think of, in my eyes.
Exactly, because the same thing with like vengeance. Vengeance will only ensue more vengeance, and what kind of endless cycle would this be? Like, just it's you have to be done with letting vengeance consume you. We must be better. We have to change.
Yeah, that's true. Be the change for
man,
better.
yeah, this chapter was great, man. Love this chapter.
Definitely for sure. So Sam, are you gonna stick around here while we transition from Black Horror? Or are you gonna put yourself in, non-participant? Are you gonna be gone, or are you gonna just stay here, chilling around?
I will be in. I mean, like I'll be hearing spoilers if I stay around, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Thank you guys. I'll be right back at the end though. When we guys wrapping up, I will be here in the end.
And if you don't come back, I will just put other plugs for you and everything. All right.
Got it.
All right. So guys, for those that are curious to know what's happening right now, we're gonna go into Black Clover discussion, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Where we're gonna talk about fully Black Clover, and let's get into it. James, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought this chapter was pretty good. Not a lot happened, if we're being perfectly honest. We get the aftermath, and we actually get to see that Asta definitely killed the twins. So that's my interpretation anyway. We see that happening, and then we also see that Asta sees like a lot of Yami inside of Noct as well. And we also finally get to see Magna get to do some cool shit. Like I was hoping we would finally get back to Dante and figure out what's going on with him. Poor Jack is getting the work, but I love that Magna showed up and he finally has a really, really cool new technique. Like on the last review that we did, we speculated on the different things that Magna might be able to bring to this fight, because Magna is a commoner. He doesn't have that much magical power, but I love the way Magna finds all of these different ways to set himself apart from everyone else. And I love this new spell that he came up with, and I can't wait to talk about it with you.
I have to agree 100% because one, I feel bad for Nox saying like, bitch, you have 30 minutes to go back to even dark mode or even union mode. Like, damn, we need your ass. And you have 30 minutes, like, yo, Nox in his face expression, he was so mad, like my boy want to smack him. Like, 30 minutes of the long minutes in anime. If you have not seen Dragon Ball Super, that was almost 24 episodes just for an hour. Just imagine what 30 minutes is in a Black Clover. So like, damn, that, yo, like Nox was so pissed about that. And I'm happy Magna was there, and Magna said like, no, I'm gonna fight you by myself. Zoro here is just my backup, but he's just training there as my cheerleader. So I love that scene. That was beautiful. So I really love how Magna came here for the W. Like, hey, I'm gonna be a peasant, and like I love how he was being cocky about it, but he brought his backup for it. And now I see our boy John take question about the spirit of vengeance. Like he did as used a chain where like it connected to the underworld, connected to hell. Like, and I'm curious to know about the spell. So let's get into it. About the chapter itself, how we started out. We got full confirmation that the twin devils are fully dead. Those idiots, underwhelming enough to some people, but those twins are finally gone. They're evaporated, and how Asa's like, hey, you remind me a lot of Yami, with the way you talk, like, hey, I'm very proud of you and everything. And then finding out that he got those 30 minutes time limit. How did you feel about that?
About the 30-minute time limit?
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? Like we know that he didn't actually have enough time to train to perfect it. And like Ray already alluded to in the last review that we did, Asta's only real weakness from this point on will be time. So we speculated like what that time could possibly be for him at this point. I think you mentioned like if it was going to be like maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less than that. And now we have confirmation that as of this moment right now, it has to be 30 minutes. So here's the thing. Will it actually be 30 minutes? Will Asta actually have to wait that long, or will he just push beyond his limits? Because we're on a time limit. We don't have 30 minutes. I know Noct says that his anti-magic is still the key, even without being able to use
useful
union mode. But I don't think that's enough.
So my guess is our girl Seeker, aka Nero. My guess is that she could use some type of unlocking magic, because you know her magic is to unlock stuff and also like ruin magic. So what happens if she goes to Asta and speed up, like his body could think it's still outside 30 minutes, but his body
speed
could
up
think
his
it's
healing
dead. So it's speed up his healing. So instead of 30 minutes, like 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, or cut it half to 15. So like I feel like she could play a role into that, where she knows how to. Because remember back when Asta
she did it before.
She did it before. She fought Elbow Zaker, and then I said like, damn, I need a couple minutes, hold on guys. And then our girl literally came behind him like, here, I will do this type of magic on you, here, go fight again. And he was like, oh, I'm good now, alright, cool, I'm gonna go fight. So I think she's the clue for this.
Yeah, Mercenary literally just brought that up. Yeah, like it would definitely make sense for Nero to show up and do that thing again, where she locks away all of his pain and heals him, so that he can then use Devil Union mode against whoever. Because I don't even know what Asa is going to do at this point. Like, I hope Magna gets to get a W. Like, I don't expect him to defeat Dante, but I want him to get a big W, man. I love Magna so much.
I know that you and Ray wanted more Magna to get a W. I know I was in the boat of Zoro more, so I'm happy for Magna. Like
both of them.
Yeah, both of them. But like I was hoping for like a tag team or Zoro to do something as well. But technically Zoro's right now technically just being the cheerleader. Like, alright, cool, Magna, I'm just here and support you. So that's pretty cool. But I like how we get the flashback as where Zoro and Magna was technically watching Yami get captured. And they literally had to sit there and watch their captain get captured, and they couldn't do shit. And Zoro's like, right now we cannot go out because you would just die or get in the way. So I love how, like, not love it, but I love how we get the idea of what they were doing. Like, they was training, but in the middle of training they saw their captain get captured. Like, that's tough, knowing that as a peasant. Magna even said, I know I'm weak, I just can't go back to everybody else and pretend that doesn't bother me. Like, that's something that's human nature that will bother anybody, knowing that you're in a big group of content creators, you're in a big group of friends, knowing that you're in a football team, you're in an athlete, knowing that everyone around you is doing great, but you're still falling behind from them. Like, that eats anybody up inside. And that's what Magna was eating up. Like, how can you go back to these people, his friends, his whole brigade, but feel like he cannot bring or measure up to them?
Yeah, I really love this spell. I love that Magna has found his own way to fight, and he's figured out this very interesting spell that links him to the other person. It pools all of their magic and then splits it half and half. So what makes the actual difference will be how tactical they can be and their physical strength. I love that. I love that he's come up with this spell so that he can fight on even terms with anyone. And I feel like Dante will have to find some way to defeat Magna, because I feel like Magna definitely has the advantage in a one-on-one fist fight for sure.
Yeah, because this reminds me of a mixture of the guy Wildcat, with the DC Comics, how he just has no powers, but he just fights with brute force. But with the magic of Ghost Rider of the Spirit of Vengeance, like, it literally is Secret Flame Magic, Soul Chain Deathmatch. And that's literally a similar move to what Ghost Rider has. It's he fights with his chain, and sometimes in his fights he has fought the Hulk, where he of where he connects both their souls until a death match and everything, knowing that Ghostwriter can die because he's already dead. So I love that, like knowing that Magna and the double spread in page 16 and 17, the last panel, beautiful double spread because that little punch right there in his face and Magna literally that swing and everything, love it. So hope to see more of that. And this chapter got me hyped for it. Like, okay, I see what you're doing and I love it.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see Magna get a chance to show out, and now he's getting to do it against the leader of the Dark Triad. So I'm absolutely loving this. Abe and I were talking about this on Twitter, but I'm really hoping that Zora finds a way, because you remember that fight against Langris, when he attached his trap magic to his body. I'm hoping he's able to use that to repel physical attacks, right? So when he's in close quarters combat, if someone fights him and lands a punch, I hope that he's able to use that trap magic to double the effect of that physical attack and then bounce it back towards a villain. I think that would be dope. And it also takes him a really, really long time to make powerful trap spells to repel attacks. I hope that we see like a lower time frame in that. I hope it's like he can do it in like maybe 3 to 5 minutes instead of it taking like 15 and however long it used to take. Like those are the kind of improvements that I'm looking for in Zora. But now seeing Magna's new technique and this new spell, I'm hoping we see something even crazier from Zora.
And also I'm curious to know that, like, for Magna to do this move or learn this move, did he try this against Zoro for them to, you know, use combat and see how it works? So because like Magna is not that dumb to just try out this spell for the first time. I think he would need to try to on somebody or practice with somebody. So I'm curious to know that with him training with Zoro, like did he train with him or did he train with other Magic Knights in the kingdom, or did he just try to perfect this move? Because like there's no way that you think this move will work against a whole demon like Dante. And I'm curious to know, since Dante said himself, like I'm no longer at 100%. So how much percent is he? Because he looks like he's probably at 40 to 60%. That's my assumption.
Well, it's half. It's half, right? Because exactly what Magna says, it pools all of their magic and then it splits it in half evenly across the two. So each of them are on equal footing in terms of magic power.
Okay, so what you're saying. So
I mean, it's very, very interesting, man.
It's very interesting. And to also Dante, like he could read the power level, and he even said like nobody like you should even be here. Like he said, like you're not demons, and you're not also arcane or with a unique magic power. So like he could observe what type of power they have, and he was like, I'd rather fight Jack because he was at least entertaining me. So I also like he was acknowledging Jack as entertainment, or at least a person that he could fight against as a foe. So at least, hey Jack, I was talking shit about you on the last video, but I'm happy this time I can't talk shit about you because at least Dante acknowledged you. So okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if Dante didn't have body magic, I feel like Jack would be able to put up a much bigger fight, right? Because Dante is able to completely regenerate his body from any damage. Like and Jack's blades can cut through gravity. So I feel like he would have been able to put up a much bigger fight if Dante didn't have body magic.
Oh yeah, and also like even Dante said like your magic seems capable of changing its properties to match your opponent's magic, but my body magic has the outperform even that. So like Jack was learning the experience and learning throughout the battle how to fight against Dante, but with Dante having two magic attributes, technically Dante had the overpower here within against Jack. So like that was just very disappointing. Like damn, Jack, like I gotta give proud, like Jack was giving him the work the best he could, and he didn't really
the best he could.
Like he didn't give up trying. So I'm very proud of that. So but I know that Jack is probably mad that two peasants came to save him. So I know he's like, damn, these little fucking bitches came here to help me. Like, damn, I'm here like this low. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah, man. But this chapter was cool. Like, I'm ready to see what's gonna happen next. Like, I know this is one of the reasons why it's hard to review Black Clover week to week sometimes, because like a chapter like this, nothing really happens. Like we get Magna's new spell. We find out about Asta's 30-minute time limit from where he's at right now. Well, like there's not really much else to that really happens in this chapter. So like, but I definitely loved everything that happened. I thought the art was really, really good. Yeah, I love this chapter, man.
But the great thing about this that we could talk about it and it'll be a short review, like less than 10 minutes and everything. But we could have another 10 minutes to have what the chat questions bring up for us. So before we could go, because even our even Lady says once again Dante's ego was his own worst enemy. That's 100% true because Dante was shooting. He's like, yeah, you know what? How about you hit me first? How about you hit me first because I'll give you the first shot. Now he definitely regrets that because after that first fireball and then getting the death chain, he's like, fuck, what the fuck just happened? Damn, I fucked myself up here because now I'm not 100%. So I know he definitely regrets this because now he got just punched and he actually felt that. So he like, I didn't even feel his first attack, but now what the hell? Like he literally got hit that right on the cheek.
Yeah.
So definitely for sure that was definitely a tough one. And so I don't know if you saw the chat, but the chat is saying like, so for my hero, we were talking about death is not good and everything, but now we're talking about the devils and everything, or the demons should be dead or like die. Like, how do you feel about that? Because we're saying here, like Ray even said, evil demons, death, good. How do you feel about that, James?
I mean, I feel like it's like I said before with the My Hero thing, like wartime is way different, right? Like these demons are not like Lieb, right? Like these demons are only out to kill, to hurt, to take over the living world. They have to be destroyed or sent back. Like you can feel how you want to feel about it, but it just is what it is. Like it's a means to an end. Like there is no time to sit with these demons. Hey, what are your motivations when they're coming in hordes and in waves of destruction against the world that you pretty much signed up to protect, right? So it's like these devils are all coming out to only do harm and they have to be stopped. This is war. War is ugly, and this is just what happens.
And Jordan, I appreciate for you to still stick around here and talk with us about what's going on with the series and the chapter, because you're a bit probably disconnect, like you just said. We're much ahead reviewing chapter 291, and we don't know what chapter you're on. But definitely, what James just said, that these demons are literally popping up and just want to kill and cause chaos and literally cause havoc. So, how can they have a moment to ask these questions to the demons when two of these twin devils that just died literally just want to cause damage and literally have fun and toy with people just because they were bored? So like, what can you do against these people when you've been asking like, hey, can you just not kill people? Can you just, if you want to come to our world, can we just have a little kingdom for you? Just chill out there. We can have a little small nation for you. Just call like the whole demon nation. But now they just literally come here to kill people. So like, that's obviously a problem.
Yeah, and Ray, that's why I said it that way, right? Like this is war. There is no time for me for any of them to go to these devils. Hey, what's your motivations? Like, what is your mind like? Are you only doing this because Lucifero wants you to? There's no time for that. In war, there is no time to talk to a soldier on the other side and say, hey, I know you might be only doing this to protect your country and you feel like you have to kill. Well, let's talk real quick. Unfortunately, that is the ugly side of war. And with devils, it's only worse. That's my mindset on it anyway.
And also to add to what we're saying is that Yami would definitely be happy once he finds out where Magna get that little swing. He gave that little uppercut, so that'll be hella excited. And we spoke about it before on our most recent reviews as well. We said it that if one of them has to die, Yami or Vengeance, it'll probably be Vengeance because he served his purpose to protect his brigade of the Golden Dawn and everything, and he technically was repenting his actions for what he did to the Clover Kingdom previously. So I feel like if one of them had to die, not that we will want them, but if one of them will have to die to save the other or save the kingdom for the Spade or the Clover, it will be Vengeance. Yami still has things to show Asta and the other brigade as well right now, and also Nox still has things to repent and to kind of forgive Yami or you know, build that relationship with as vice captain, captain actually. So that'd be also pretty useful. Would I want Yami to die? No. I wouldn't want neither. But if we had to give that little coin toss, yeah.
Yeah, if I had to choose someone, it would have to be Vengeance for me. Vengeance, I think, would give up his life to protect Yami and to protect the Clover Kingdom and everyone else. Because I mean, he almost caused the death of everyone in the Clover Kingdom and in other kingdoms as well. So I could definitely see him sacrificing his life for that. And to Jordan's comment, like with Shigaraki being very evil and he just wants to destroy everyone, Shigaraki is just a misguided teen with ultimate power. And not only is he misguided, he was manipulated by a master manipulator. You have to remember that Shigaraki is still just a kid. Like, he's impressionable and he was taken down the wrong path. That doesn't mean, again, that the first thing should just be to kill him, right? If you can at least try to talk to him, I just want Deku to try. If he can try to talk to him, try to subdue him so that he can get the help that he actually deserves, that's what I would prefer. But if that's not possible, then he just has to do what he has to do, because Shigaraki will cause deaths of hundreds to thousands to millions of people if left unchecked. It just is what it is, which is why Gran Torino had that moment where he told Deku that killing is also a way to save, right? But that shouldn't be the first thing that you go to.
I agree. 100% agree. And to what Lady said, hell yeah. The next thing that Asta and Nak should go to is Morris. Morris is somebody that they should take down because he's the one that's fucking opening the gates. So they definitely should stop him 100%. He's opening the gates at this moment. He's like, rise, rise, and open more gates. They need to take Morris out because also he has a whole demon that we didn't know about, and we were all shocked when it happened. Like, oh shit, Morris got a demon side of. He could be the time devil that we heard about, the 3 major ones. So if he is the time devil, that's definitely a huge problem, and they definitely should stop Morris as the first one. Like, Asa could literally throw his anti-magic sword, just throw it to the gate, and literally maybe close the whole thing. Who knows? So we just need to, like, Asa needs to go and knock and everything, and Knock knows this. So hopefully that's the next step.
Yeah, Knock knows that Morris is the problem. Like, whatever he's using to create these vines, the vines are absorbing mana from the surrounding area and using that mana to speed up the process of opening up these gates. Now, jumping back to the twins real quick, what I'm wondering, and this is just me spitballing,
what's up?
But do you think it's possible that the vines or whatever was able to absorb the mana from the twins before they completely dissipated in order to add that to the power to open up the gates? Probably reaching on that one. But when I saw the panel and I saw the vines so close to where the twins were killed, I kind of thought I was like, I wonder if it's able to absorb residual mana right before they died to speed up the process. I don't know.
That is an interesting theory because from I assume the panel you're talking about is page 3 from where Knock is staring at the vines, right?
Page 3, yes.
Okay, yeah. So if that is the
page 3, no, it's not page 3. Page 1.
Oh, okay. So page 1 in the panel. So yeah. So it could be as well with the
the vines are reaching up, and you can see like this like orb of energy surrounding them. So it's like I'm wondering if that's the vines. Like that was like showing us this. I don't know. I think it's the vines absorbing their energy before they died.
That could be the case. Like, you know, as you know, rise from the ashes, as like the phoenix. So that could be the case in that type of scenario where they could have you know, died and everything, then went back to the vines and, you know, help speed up the process for the gate. So that could be a possibility for that. And if it if it did happen, that sucks as hell because that means you're speeding up the process for more gates to open.
Yeah, and just to expound on that even more, on the last review, Ray was talking about them might not even be like being dead. What if they wouldn't have died from Asa slicing them in half, but it's Morris using the vines absorbing their energy that stopped them from doing any type of regeneration to pull themselves back together? That's also a wild theory.
Yeah, because remember how we also know Alba Zagerd, when he got cut up too small into a heart, that he goes to rebuild from
That's
the heart.
what I was talking about.
So we don't know how much how bad you have to cut the demons to actually fully kill them to know. So that would be pretty interesting, because for Zager to die in the Elf arc, we know that he literally got slashed by Yamis Dimension slash, Asa slash, and by the first Wizard King slash as well. So like he literally got slashed by 3 different things to make sure he gets killed this time. So for the twin devils, like, do we know confirmation that they did? All we know is just that they were evaporated. But do we fully know that the
Well,
little
I
tiny
mean,
pieces?
I think they're 1,000 trillion% dead. But what I was saying is, I don't think that Asta splitting them in half is what killed them, because you can see some type of energy surrounding them when they get cut in half, and then they're dissipating. And I think that dissipation is from the vines absorbing all of their mana.
That is very true. So, and do Vinny asking, do all devils have regeneration? We don't know. We have no type of synopsis to know that. Like for example,
I would hope that a supreme devil would have like a basic form of regeneration, right? Like Demon Slayer, all high level demons have some form of regeneration. So that's how I see it in my mind. Yeah, that's how I see it anyway.
And also, Raven said it that aren't all devils in some way, in some shape or form, are all made of mana itself. That also could be true, because like we also know that Lebe, when he got absorbed into a grimoire, and then within that grimoire he absorbed the magic of the swords to have anti-magic. So within to know that these devils, these demons, are made of mana magic itself. So that could be the case. We just have no confirmation or to know what's gonna happen with these next other gates opening and what others, because I hope to see other cool designs from Tabata coming out of these gates. That's what I want to see.
1,000%. Like I want to see more higher level demons closer to Lucifero. And again, like we got this confirmation that there are 3 devils like Lucifero. So we have to see them at some point. I don't know if we're going to see them in this arc. Like I don't know if we're only going to get Lucifero and then future arcs will be them like out into the real world because they found a way to escape while everyone was fighting Lucifero. It could go a couple different ways, man. Like Tabata is really setting up a lot of different things with Black Clover right now.
100% agree, and I can't wait to see what's going on with the next chapter within which is in 2 weeks. For those that don't know, the next chapter will be on May 9th in 2 weeks. So I definitely can't wait to see what Tabata does with Black Clover and what does with My Hero. Can't wait to see if Dante's demon will be like, damn, you stupid ass son. I mean, like, stupid ass idiot. Let me take over the body. And what happens if he breaks the chain or breaks the 100% and just actually takes full control of Dante's body as well? That's also another possibility too.
I hope not, but it's anything is possible.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. So any thoughts left or any more dares for Black Clover? Because it seems like chat it seems like for chat we answer most of the questions for chat as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see more of this fight with Magna. Like I really want like this whole next chapter to just be Magna using this new spell in combination with everything else that I hope he's learned in this time, combining those fireballs with the fire brass knuckles that he's using against Dante. I just want to see more of those combo techniques, and I want to see him give Dante the work, man. Like I think this spell is really, really interesting because Dante is incredibly powerful. So having Magna with all of his abilities and some of Dante's magical power to strengthen his own flame magic, brilliant, dude. I can't wait.
And Jordan, when you guys review Monster 8, aka Kaiju number 8. So the reason we had this on thumbnail is for you guys to know that Kaiju number 8 will be a series that we'll be reviewing week to week once it's out on the Sunday Shonen Ronin here. But we will not be reviewing it this Sunday right now because James is not cut up to a couple of chapters. But we want you guys to know that up ahead within the next 3 weeks, the next chapter will be, I think, May 13th, May 14th. So that following Sunday, we will be reviewing it with Ray and us as a whole as a team, with Kaiju number 8 being probably My Hero, Kaiju, and then Black Clover last, and same won't be catch up still. And then once he's cut up, we'll probably do it in alphabet order: Black Clover, My Hero, then Kaiju. We will see how it comes in the future and how the team will talk about it. But Kaiju number 8, chapter 32 was freaking awesome, is what I will add. Definitely for sure. Kaiju was freaking awesome. Can't wait to see what chapter 33 holds. So that's all I'm gonna say in a non-vashing way. Non-vashing way.
Oh man, we were on another podcast, Popaholics. Definitely check that out if you guys like movie reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, they came up with the Vash tag. So whenever you want to spoil something, you'll just put Vash tag on it. Oh man, that's awesome. I can't wait to steal that.
Yes, Jordan, anytime for the info, and I'm glad you asked because this is what we're here for. We want you guys to enjoy Shonen Ronin, and you guys, if you want our max manga series we are going to do is 5. So we definitely have Black Clover, My Hero, Kaiju, and JJK. There is a 5th one you guys could recommend and for us to do, and when some of the series are on break, we could replace it and talk about it in the future. Like for example, this following Sunday, there is no Shonen Jump chapters. We could do a one shot and talk about certain series and just bring that up. Could be a Kaiju, could be any other series, but we'll talk about it as a team. And I'm glad that you guys are excited for this for Kaiju number 8 review and other said series. So definitely recommend other series that you would want us to talk about within the weekly Shonen Jump roster at Sakamoto Days under the Lock Match Show, because we could definitely bring it up and have a whole conversation for it. Any last thoughts, James, about this Black Clover, My Hero?
No, I'm good with those 2 reviews, but I'm definitely excited, and I would love to take advantage next week to talk about Kaiju number 8, because we can actually have like a really long conversation on just Kaiju number 8, since all of Shonen Jump is on break. If we do find like a really cool one shot, or if any of the members of Anime Lately have any cool one shots that you guys would like for us to review, we would love to do that next week for you guys. But if you don't come up with anything, I think it would be a great idea to just cover Kaiju number 8 for like 2 hours. I would love to talk about that.
I have no problem about that. So definitely guys, stay tuned for that. And what James mentioned about the YouTube membership, we're a tier 3 YouTube membership where you guys could support us and also give us recommendation. Like Sfor said, Weekly Shonen Jump is on break next week, and if you were a member, you guys could recommend a series that you guys want us to talk about. For example, Ranger Reject, that we heard a lot of good things about. Shangri-La, other series that are on Weekly Shonen Magazine as well. But if we did a one shot for those, that's possible on the Sunday Shonen Ronin when chapters are on break. Or we could talk about Hardboy Cop, Kaiju number 8, set series that are more smaller that we don't have time for, but we could definitely do those for those one shots review. So definitely guys, this is what the platform is for you guys, Shonen Ronin, where you guys could give us those recommendations. So definitely check out the YouTube membership recommendation for us and what you guys want us to talk about in the future. And we appreciate all the feedback that you guys enjoy with My Hero. Time code down below, Black Clover time code as well down below, and we appreciate the support. And that's about it for our show for Shonen Ronin today. Definitely guys, don't forget to follow SamTheMangaMan on where you guys, Twitter, IG, and everywhere else on the show here. James, give you a plug real quick.
Yeah, follow me on all of our social media at JBXclusive, and follow me at C4 Spoilers. Of course, check out my YouTube channel, Careful for Spoilers, where we have See First Villains every single Friday, where we talk about everything in the world of Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and just comic books in general. So check us out there.
And you might see a Mortal Kombat review this week, because I heard a lot of pros and cons. So I can't wait for us to review it, because I heard mixed reviews.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned for that, because you might see that. Other than that, follow us at myself, LegendDVash, and at Anime Lately everywhere else. And definitely guys, let us know in the comment section below. See you guys on the next one.